Hi and welcome. My name is Bill Oswald and I'm a member of Lee Community Church and have been since 1997. I'd like to share my testimony this morning because without God's intervention in my life, I wouldn't be sat here talking to you this morning. My children, I have twins, are currently 29, and the time I want to talk about was when they were just a few months old, and I was thatching in Berkshire. So I was working throughout the county of Berkshire, thatching, and it's the old cliche for thatchers that when the sun's shining, you make hay, and that day was no particular exception. Except the change was that the previous night I'd been kept awake quite a lot along with my wife, because the children were restless that night, and for one reason or another they didn't sleep and kept us awake. And so going to work the next morning, I was feeling quite tired, and I was working in Hungerford, which is I think about 20 miles down the road from Reading. And so I was going along the M4 corridor daily doing that job. And for those who know the M4, when you're coming along it going from west to east of the evening, you have the sun behind you. And this evening, in particular, it was beautiful. It was casting long shadows, and it was a very pleasant evening. I was feeling quite tired because I had a good day's work in. And the transport I had then was a Mazda pickup, which had a bench seat. And it wasn't a fast thing, but it was good for the job I intended. And so I normally drive along the motorway at 60 mile an hour in lane one and just poodle along. And that's exactly what I was doing that night coming home. I was in lane one. Except this evening in particular, I fell asleep. And I didn't just fall asleep at the wheel. I fell asleep and fell horizontally onto the seat. And I'm a bit of a lazy driver, so it was my right hand on the bottom of the wheel that I normally drive. And so that's the position I was in. I was laying horizontal on the seat with my right hand on the bottom of the wheel going along. And so there I was going along 60 mile an hour, and I drifted from lane one to the hard shoulder. And I was careering along the hard shoulder at 60 mile an hour. And up ahead of me, there was a party of people who had broken down in a Ford Transit, and they'd got out of the vehicle for safety reasons and were stood on the hard shoulder. And I must have terrified them, because what they would have seen was this vehicle careering towards them with no driver. And what happened was that, and woke me up, was the fact that the steering wheel was pulled to the right, and I swerved around them, and it was the vehicle swerving around them that woke me up. And just as I sat up, I looked at their astonished faces as I went past them. I mean, they were as astonished as I was, because I think I would have killed most of them, including myself, because I was still going along at 60 mile an hour. It must have been a frightening experience for them, seeing this vehicle that would have taken them out. But God intervened in my life in that day, because he obviously had further plans for me. That wasn't the end of the story for me, or maybe in fact them. And it's something that's stuck with me in my Christian life, because up to that point, I didn't start going to church until my children were actually baptized. And I thought, well, if I'm promising to bring my children up in a Christian way, then I must know something about God. And I sort of put it into the same perspective as like learning how to drive and getting your driver's license. And yeah, I'd have this little ticket that said that yes, he knows what the basic scriptures are about and what God's about. But I had no comprehension about relationship with God. And yes, here's this awesome God who reached into my life that day, saved me from death, and has carried me through thick and thin, through the storms of life, to the point where we are now. And what I'd like to share with you is that this relationship, it's something that just grows and grows. And I can only assure you, as you search for God, He will not rebuke you. He will take you on, because it's an ongoing journey. It's for me, I liken it to an apprenticeship, because being a tradesperson, it's I look upon apprenticeships as learning, and this is certainly a big learning curve we're on while time on earth. And in this time of lockdown, it's taken me to new depths of love with God. I've totally enjoyed this time, and it's flown over for me. I'm a naturally busy person, but I've spent more time with God and talking to Him and getting into the Word, and He's just taken me to another level, because our God is a God of love. He loves us beyond our comprehension. And I'm just so grateful that we have an amazing God who loves for us, who cares for us, who wants the best for us. And I cannot encourage you more than to take that step. Let His arms enfold you, for He has a plan and purpose for your life, and only wants good for you. If you would like to hear more about what God's got for you, please come to Lee Community Church, and where we will welcome you and share with you, pray with you. And I only wish and hope that I'll see you in the future. Take care and God bless. Bye.